All right, welcome back, everybody. This is MDawg. It's actually been a few days since I've been able to record. Yes, there's a Bleak order. All right, let's try to do this. Where are we going for Bleak? We're going to 87, 87, and preferably we want 20, 22 hooks, something like that. And obviously on fly. See if we can do this Bleak order. Wait, how much time is left? So it's been a few days since I've been able to record. We've got a little bit of time. We're going to run out of time, though. Do I just do it with one rod? See, I was going to grab a second telestick. How much is the kit? We have 33 silver. So the float starting kit is a little more than that. That would be good, though. You know what? Let's just do it with one rod for now and see how it goes. I don't want to waste time. Because I really want to go float fishing at Winding. So here's the thing. This is kind of like a reset moment. We're level 11, which means we'll be level 12 soon, which means when we have the gear for it, we can start fishing Oldberg and or Belaya. So like what we want to do right now is focus on making silver to buy our 3 kits, bottom feed kits. And we can do that some beforehand, but if Belaya is still decent, we can also do that by spin fishing at Belaya because we have that fun little spin setup that we got for having a hard time doing 2 things at once. Not surprising. We're doing a depth of what? 18 centimeters. That's as shallow as it gets. A little over 50% cast. Now, the thing is, I think I do want to go ahead and throw these out. Let's go 22 worm. We probably... Let's don't do any... oh crap. Do that fake bite. Alright, we need to be ready here. Let's don't do any ground bait for right now. Oh, come on! Didn't quite hit it long enough. 22. Now, what's something that might catch... I don't really want to do fly on there, but we could do like bloodworm. You're getting nervous that we're going to miss something. Okay. And once again, we'll do 10, 8, 9 clip, something like that. All right, we'll just see if we're getting any nibbles on those. I do think, especially without a current here, there's no excuse for us not to be fishing with 2 floats and catching these Bleak a lot faster. But for right now, we're going to just try to power through it. And if by nighttime we have caught enough to do the cafe order, that would be great. If we haven't, then, you know, there's no excuse. We should have gotten a second rod. I guess we do have the bamboo. We could catch Bleak on bamboo, right? 20 fly. Even if we just catch 1 on there the whole time we're doing this, it's probably worth it, right? Little bream on the bloodworm. All right. Okay, here we go. So, yeah, reset. That's what I was talking about. We're trying to prepare for... So it's 150 silver per kit, so we need 450 silver to be able to afford the 3 starter feeder kits that we want with the Lacertes. Because technically with those, we can fish for bream at Oldberg. So we're just trying to set it up so no matter kind of what's better, either bottom fishing for small to medium fish at Old Berg, or spin fishing at, that is a big bleak, or spin fishing at Belaya. Either way, we feel like we have options at that point. Ooh, yeah. We are off to a heck of a start here. I don't, you know, this is how little I pay attention to details. I couldn't even tell you what the bleak order wanted. We're just going to do as good as we can here, and then we'll go check the cafe and hope for the best. So, just to be clear, as like a reset on this spot, we are at 87.87, trying to catch bleak on. That is a big boy. Trying to catch bleak on flies. If you don't have flies, which we were fortunate enough to find flies in stock, if for some reason you have not been able to, you can try bloodworm, pearl barley, sometimes casters. There's different baits that you can try for bleak. But flies are pretty awesome, honestly, for bleak. All right, we can't set this down again because it's about to go down. There we go. Oh, goodness. Same thing with our bamboo rod. Yes. This is amazing. And we are using size 20 hook, which is interesting. More times than not, oh, it's a little bleak. More times than not, I like 22, 24 size hook. But I saw where somebody was doing really well here on 20. So I've decided to go for it. And so far, yeah, it's been pretty good. Let's make sure this closed. Yeah, it looked like it did. So once we get 450 silver towards those kits, then we'll be able to fish for bream at Old Berg. But I'm really looking forward to, if Belaya is still working reasonably well, I'm looking forward to doing a little bit of spin fishing on Belaya as well. So that's kind of what we're thinking about. We want to keep leveling up the bait harvesting, keep digging till you just can't stand it any longer. How are we doing on red worms? Red worms, we've got 34. We'll probably use those at winding, either later in this video or the next. That spot, I think we've actually fished at the spot already, but it is still just going off at winding. Lots of different species, lots of different trophies coming out. So especially at night, like I continue to think that the combination at winding right now of float fishing during the day and then bottom fishing at night is pretty spectacular for a low level player to take advantage of. That was unfortunate. Love it. Rough. those fake bites. You should just give it a second. Bleak don't do it that often, but they will do that like initial pull, and then sometimes they'll back off and then they'll pull for real. Like that one was so far, that was like well, I just missed that bite, but that wasn't a fake. That was just, I didn't pull it in time. But sometimes they tug just for a second and let go, and then they come right back. Yeah, I'll be shocked if we don't have enough for this cafe order. Shoot. That's that unusual. It's so rare to see those, especially with Bleak, where the bite actually pushes the float up instead of pulling it down. But I'm pretty sure that's what just happened. These are some healthy Bleak. Even if there's not a cafe order, especially if you had 3 float rods, you could do a lot worse than the bite rate we're getting here on Bleak. Another Ruffe. I like it. I'm really tempted to put another point in harvesting baits on the digging just to see if we can get redworms a little more often, because the redworms are so good at the moment at winding. Kind of tough that we can't hit it more often. It looks like anywhere from 50% from what I've seen so far all the way up to like 80, 90% cast. We're hitting them pretty consistently here in terms of this Bleak spot. And every once in a while, we'll have a Ruffe over here, which means we could really go ahead and switch this to regular worms instead of doing bloodworms. Ruffe will like that just as well. So it appears right now you could do Ruffe at night and Bleak during the day in this exact same spot, which is not bad silver, typically pretty good bite rate, and often cafe orders here at Mosquito. So if you're low level trying to figure out what you want to do at Mosquito, it'll involve both float fishing and bottom fishing, but you could do a lot worse right now than Bleak and Ruffe in this very spot. 87, 87, casting straight out. 8-9 clip on the feeders, 50, 60, 70% on float. Seems to be working really well. That's a bummer. Well, somebody asked in my last video, what's the point of using different float types. I think they were saying that they're still using the very basic starter floats like what we have on right now. And should they ever, is there a reason to ever switch off of those? And that's actually a little more of a complicated answer than you might imagine, that they asked if I would talk about it. Look at that frog. Our first frog. Like so many other things in this game, one reason to switch floats is just going to have to do with gravity or physics or weight or whatever. Different floats can hold different amounts of weight, obviously. So some baits are going to be too heavy for some floats. So one reason you might change floats is because of either the test of the rod that you're using or the weight of the bait that you're using. Now, probably, if I had to guess, more of what this person was kind of asking about is, even if the like mass and performance of the float is the same, there's still a lot of variety in the shop of different color and shaped floats you can use. And there's different types of floats. Like if you're doing match fishing, you're going to use wagglers. I mean, we're not going to get into all that right now. That's much more complicated. If you float fish for a long time, obviously you'll unlock a lot of different types of float fishing, and sometimes that will involve different floats. But the other thing I will say is I think it is worth experimenting with different floats. They're typically not that expensive. And if you do a lot of float fishing, you will, sometimes lose a float here or there. But you also will just find, if you don't use leaders, I guess, but you also will just find that some floats are easier for you to use than others, especially with the type of fish you're going after. And the only thing I mean with that is identifying bites versus nibbles. So for some fish in some situations, a nice tall skinny float where you can really see a lot of difference in the bite, the fish bite, and how far it pulls it and all that might be helpful. And then in some situations, that might not be necessary, or you might want a shorter, stubbier float for whatever reason. It's also nice if you're float fishing with 3 different rods, sometimes to have 3 very distinct, different looking floats on there can help you in your mind as you're just kind of chilling float fishing, help you kind of keep things separated a bit so it's easier as your muscle memory is setting in on which number to press to pick up which rod. That makes sense. So yeah, we've caught a lot of fish in a short amount of time here. This is great. So I would encourage you to try different floats. Now, when you're level 11 in the game, every single silver matters, right? And so this is probably not the time, unless you are just loving float fishing and that's primarily what you're doing. This is probably not the time for us to start buying too many different float options. It's just not necessary. But as you move forward and you have more silver and you've got more margin to spend on things and try things, I would definitely encourage you to try out different floats. Sometimes you'll have to, and then sometimes you may just enjoy using a float better than another. That is not... What hook was that? A 20? 20 red? I was like, that is not a bleak. Probably like a decent size... Oh, I don't even know. What would that have been? Was that on fly? I have no idea what that was. A huge frog? Is that the only option? I don't know. Maybe a weird roach. I'm not sure, but we need to replace that hook. I think we were relying on having a couple of 20s for some of what we were doing. Out of curiosity, what's in the cafe right now? No Dace, which is disappointing, but that's okay. We have that gudgeon. All right. Let's make sure we have, first of all, let's just see, what did we make? 66 silver in no time at all. And that's if there was no cafe order. Here, we got a red worm. All right, so this Bleak order is 5 from 20. Oh, that is amazing. 18, so that's 19 silver. It is tempting to stay there for Ruffe. Wait, do we? I mean, I'm definitely going to go ahead and claim this. Okay, 20, 37. We're at 36 silver. 36 silver. Do we go for this? I was going to go do... Oh my God. We're going to be raking in the money here. That's already that's 99 silver. From just float fishing at Mosquito for a minute. Do they have 20s? Ugh. All right, we're about to... I think we can make do with what we've got. What size hooks do we have on here? I might want to use 20. Don't have a hook on here, but let's disassemble that because I don't think we'll be using that again anytime soon. I think I'm going to go right back to where we are, and we're going to test this to see if it really is... All right, so there's size 20. There's size 22. We are going to see if it's decent on Ruffe, and maybe we can finish that last cafe order. Or if we don't, we'll just see how active the bite rate the Ruffe is. Like, that's fine too. We don't have to hit the cafe. And then at the end of this video, I think what we'll do is we'll go do a little bit of float fishing at Winding. I want to test a Dace spot. Someone is reporting that it's very healthy at the moment on Caster, but I want to at least go try that. But we might as well, let's spend this night seeing if we can catch some Ruffe. So I just don't know. Go maybe 8, 9, 10. Might be a little easier to get there if we had a 24 or another 22, but we're having to use a 20 on one of them, so we'll see. And I am hoping at Winding there will be the 20s in stock, but if there's not, I have to remember we're going to be headed to, I mean, we're about to hit level 12 like almost any second. Oh, you know, like with the quality of fish we're catching tonight. So Belier Oldberg will probably have a little bit better hook selection too, even though it's pricey. All right. It's always tough seeing these rough bites. All right, so that was 45. Where are our rough? So I think it needs to be a little bigger than that. But, you know, rough are not terrible money. So even if, again, even if we don't hit the cafe order exactly, we're already ahead of the game on silver compared to what I thought we were going to do here at Mosquito. I thought we were going to wait and hit the jackpot at Winding. Possibly next video I might focus in the whole time on Winding because I want to try that spot in the corner where people are catching all those trophies on redworms. Maybe between now and then we can dig up a few more redworms. That would be nice. So right now, I'm not seeing evidence that we have a fish on. Although we might have one on this third rod now. So the second rod is where we have the size 20 hook. It'll be interesting to see, like, do we ever... Oh, that's getting a nibble, I guess. Do we ever catch a fish on that middle rod? So two fish in on the left rod. And this one is at 8 clip. So we'll keep an eye. Yeah, we want a little bit of slack maybe. I don't know if that'll help us see the bites a little easier perhaps. It won't necessarily if the fish takes the bait towards the shore, but if the fish pulls it in any other direction away from the shore, then we should see the line moving, which is nice. All right, so let's see here. We did finally catch a fish on the middle rod, and it is a rough, and it's a nice size one, so that's perfect. If we can get a few more at that size, I mean, obviously we'll be in business. And I think there's also one on this rod. Yes, there is. So the question is there a... Is there one on the third rod? Okay, there is. I'm starting to wonder. It seems like the third rod has been the slowest, so I'm actually going to back this one down to 8 clip as well, just to see, because this has got the smaller hook. You would think it would have pretty active bite as well. It's an art form to keep the slack in the line at this point. It's just not happening. Okay, here's the middle rod again. Looks like a nice size. Yeah, we're onto something here. This is the perfect size, actually. We will take it. I don't believe this is a rough, boys and girls, but if it is, we're got our first trophy. All right, 806 gram bream. We'll take that. Okay. Open. Close. All right, at least we got a little slack in all the lines. It's one of those things where I feel like sometimes you just, just wait 3 minutes and then check all the lines. 65. Are we going to be close on this? Come on, be 65 or bigger. I don't remember where the line is. 44. I think that's too small. All right, so let's look at rough by weight. 1, 2, 3, 4. I think we might just be 4 of 6 right now, but again, I don't remember the specific details. Love to see those red worms. I think we're... Oh, if 65 is the line, then that was 2 grams off. So I am obviously pausing the video for a couple minutes between bites. So if it seems like it is that's a good one. If it seems like it's a crazy bite rate, it's probably just when I'm pausing the video. I mean, it's 3:10 in the morning, so it's I've not kept you here the whole time. All right, I can't tell what size that was, but we definitely messed that bite up, which is frustrating. So we hit level 12. By the way, the first level where we don't get a free gift, as far as I remember. We're up to 24.7% bottom fishing, getting very close to something. Oh, this cafe order. In fact, we may have just hit it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If it's 65, I think we just hit it. And it's 3:45 in the morning, so this is probably a good time to go check and see. So let's see. Hopefully my noticing the cafe size was correct, and we'll be good to go here. But if not, at least we made a little more silver on all those rough, and now we can go test out this spot at Winding to at least get an idea if it's something that we want to do more of next time, along with that spot that I mentioned. Oh my goodness. Oh, this was just from 40, not from 65. So we had tons. 41 more silver. What is that, 140 silver we've made or something like that? Wait, did we purchase something? Oh, because we haven't sold the fish yet. We're way over that now. That's 86 more silver. Nothing just rolled on, right? No new Bleak or Ruffe orders, correct? Correct. I love it. 86 more silver. We're at 196. So, you know, like I said, saving silver as quick as we can to get those starter kits, and it looks like we can already get one right now and still not be out of silver. I mean, even so we want the feeder fishing start. So here it is. Lacerti, Comma Comfort. So this one goes up to 6 kilos. We get some nice 3.8 max drag Lacerti. I think these are upgradable if we want to get a little more juice out of them. We might look at that at some point. But anyway, we'll take 149. We need 2 more of them now. That's our first one. So let's go to Winding. And let's try out this day spot and see if it's really working. Okay, so what we want to do, because there's a current, we might just use the one rod here. So we want to go with a size 20 hook, which we only have one left. Oh, we don't have any left? We do have one left. I've got to get it off of our feeder. Let's just take all the hooks off, not knowing, or at least one of all the hooks. So that's a 22, and there's a 20. We can put the 20 on, and we're actually using caster here, it says. So somebody was, okay, so they were sort of going to southwest direction with a depth of 21, so almost all the way shallow. And it looks like they're casting off of this sort of bridge thing over here. Did we not get the free food, by the way? At Mosquito? Apparently not. We'll get it here. So it's only 5 a.m. It might be too early, but let's go ahead and start and see if we can catch any. So they're kind of casting somewhere like this and then letting it drift back to them. And at least this person on VK seems to indicate that they're catching a reasonable amount of dace. Let's see if I look at their bite rate. It looks like it's going from, oh, they sorted it by size. So I actually can't see all of the times. So there's not the best of information there on bite rate. But while we're waiting for the Dace to wake up, because they may not have woken up yet. Let's get some more casters. If we have to, we'll get another bait box, but I'm hoping that casters are just straight for sale here. They are. We'll get 60 of those. Go to classic hooks. Do they have the 20? They do not. We can buy a more expensive 20 though, potentially. But let's get back to fishing down here. I want to see if we can find these. Find these Dace. See if this works at all. Trophy-eyed. Wonder if that was a fish that we were going for at Mosquito. Yes, I bet it was. Finished trophy card, looks like. Congrats to Dogfish 11. $5.43, still no nibble. Size 20 hook casters, even though we're going to hopefully catch some Dace. I would guess that we're also possibly going to see an occasional Bleak. But with the size 20 hook, we're definitely hoping to see a larger percentage of Dace. But I don't know. Never know till you try. 5:53. So this next cast is going to put us past 6 a.m. Will the Dace wake up then? Trying to let this float just a little longer to see if anything happens down here. Oh, it did. Okay, that was interesting. So I guess now we have to let it float, but again, it looked like they were catching most of them up here, more up here. So we'll see. I was trying to check to see if their line, yeah, they did have some like microcarbon 3.2 pound line on there. Might be worth playing around with that. You'd run the risk of getting bit off, possibly, I guess. But that could make a difference. It's probably worth at least testing. Let's make sure there are other 20 size hooks available in the store though, because we are going to run the risk of breaking it off more often. So there's a couple 20s, that should be good. How much is that micro line? Microcarbon. So it's a fluorocarbon. And it costs more than what we have, but this is the one he's using, 3.2 pound. So it's 1.5 load capacity. It is sold out. We will just keep trying this right now. But if you have the silver for it and you want to play around with it, which, you know, again, if we do this, you know, next video, if I focus more on fishing here at Winding, if we can find the Dace here, then we'll probably try this again. But maybe I will try to get that micro line and see how much of a difference that makes. These Dace could be a little more cautious than Bleak. Bleak don't seem to care. Do Dace care about line thickness? I don't know. But we can't use a leader on float until a much higher percentage of float skill, I believe. So not really something we can change. That is a Bleak. I really want to see a Dace hit up here before it gets down to us. Because if not, why are we casting at such a... oh, there we go. Shoot. I couldn't see it, but I think that was a Dace. Alright, so we've passed 7 a.m. Maybe that was the key. Maybe that actually will make a difference. All that fish trying to Run away with our, yeah, there's another bite. Okay, so now we're not hooking them for some reason, but we're seeing bites. Activity has suddenly increased. I don't know. I guess eventually I'll try something else like waiting longer. I mean, we don't have much skill, I guess, in float fishing, but I don't think that makes that much of a difference. I think we're just getting unlucky at the moment. That was 3 in a row pulling the hook out of its mouth. If it keeps happening, like I said, I guess I will try to wait a little longer. But there we go. Oh, is that a Bleak? See, this may be the issue. I may have the timing down on Bleak, but I might be messing up the timing on Dace. I don't think of it as being that different, but I could be wrong. We need to shovel. And do we put a point in shoveling? I think we do. Fail less often, theoretically get red worms more often. I think it's worth it. All right, let's hit it. Come on, Dace. Dace is the place. Let's do it. I guess I'm just going to keep hitting them and hope for the best. Every time we actually catch a fish, it's a Bleak, though. And when we're not catching a fish, I think it's probably the Dace. But we don't have either one in our orders, which is very sad. How much are these Bleak worth? Almost 10 silver, so that puts us at 30, 23, 33. Yeah, we'll probably have to think about next episode getting further test in with line changes. I just don't think it's going to quite happen this one. There we go. First Dace of the day. First Dace of the day. Not the Dace we are after, but it is a Dace. Hey, we got this one too, and that's a Bleak. It's going to be that small. I guess we'd rather it be a Bleak, huh? Let's go ahead and unpack this kit. These Comma Comfort feeders that are in this starter kit, they actually have it where you can change the quiver tip. So that'll help at least a small amount when we're fishing for the smaller fish species. They actually will be a little more effective in seeing the bite than those Sorrento dirt cheap feeder rods we started the game with. Now, it's still not going to be as good as getting some really fancy picker rods out there, but it'll be an improvement. Hit it. All right, too small, but that is a Dace. So far, we're starting to see them. Let's don't cast it as far this time. A little quicker, closer cast. Both a little farther south directionally and also just not as far away from us. See if we notice a difference here. We're running it a little closer to where we're standing as it floats down in front of us. 2 Dace, neither one of the markers. Oh, you can see the Bleak there nibbling. This is not a Dace. All right. Same thing, a little closer. That was cool that we actually could see the Bleak. Yeah, we're getting a much higher percentage of Bleak than I was expecting. We could play with the depth a little bit, maybe let it sink a little farther down, get out of Bleak territory more often. We just want to see some marker Dace. I mean, that's what we're after. And we've got 0 so far. Although you don't have to get that many to be worthwhile. They're worth a good bit more silver than the Bleak are once you get into the bigger size. You know, if there's no cafe orders, in some ways it might be tempting to hold on to these Bleak, this net, in case when we log in tomorrow, let's say if we make a video tomorrow, we might could check the cafe and see if there's some random Bleak orders. We could fill one possibly. Increase our profits a bit. I don't usually do that unless I just kind of know, like, oh, I'll probably do, you know, I'll probably have time tomorrow to play, so it might be worth it, especially the non-markers. That's where it's like crazy difference. You go from making pretty much nothing to 20, 30 silver sometimes. Still majority Bleak here. What are we at, like depth of 21? Try down to 25 for a minute before we wrap this up. We're getting into mid-morning. We still fish a little bit longer. Yeah, I really do want to test the line difference, though, on these Dace. Too far. Oh, it went at the last second. Look at that. Just too small. All right, let's go to 25 centimeters. That's not quite as far as we wanted, but that is a big Bleak. That was weird. How quickly we caught that Bleak. Overcast day. Little Dace. They are here. Can we increase their size? That's pretty cool. Like that Bleak and Ruffe combo at Mosquito, and then sort of float fishing here during the day and bottom fishing with redworms in that corner down of the bottom of the map here at Winding. There's some pretty sick, you know, options to both fun fishing and also just like really good silver and cafe possibilities. Redworm. I don't know if it's coincidence, but we've hit redworms both times that we've pulled out the shovel since putting that second point in. I also just haven't fished Dace enough to know, might we have a little better success next time if we're like fishing for them in the afternoon than we have in the morning? I don't know with Dace. Bleak are kind of all day. But I'm not sure with these Dace. They've always been more hit or miss for me. But every once in a while, if you get a really good Dace spot, it can be so lucrative. It's the size though, right? I don't think there are Dace cafe orders that require you to catch smaller than marker size like there are with some like Bleak. Crucian, Gibble, Bleak, maybe occasionally Roach. All right, one more. Let's just see what we get. Yeah, maybe next time we can try some different line. That may not make a difference at all, but I think it's worth trying. Getting a nibble. Could be a Dace. It's just too small. They're all too small. 100% of Dace for me in this spot have been too small. That's a not a very promising cafe. So we're only getting 0.2 silver. Now, if we sold all these Bleak, we would get 22. But like I said, I think I'm going to hold on to them till next time. It's not that big a deal if they start spoiling a little bit. It's worth it to see what happens with the cafe, I think. Anyway, all right. Thank you for watching. Hopefully I'll get to another episode here pretty soon. I'd like to do some more testing, especially here at Winding. And but frankly, as fun as it might be to do something at Winding, we also, if Belaya is still having success at all, we should go fish Belaya, frankly. So we'll see. See what I'm feeling like tomorrow. As always, thanks for being here. Tight lines. See you next time.